Welcome to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back for another amazing after show for the turnaround, unpredictable, amazing, best, outrageous, insane shows of the year. I did not expect quite a ride. Okay, so here's the news. I might have said something last week about me making one episode reaction for both of these finale episodes. However, after watching, after watching the 8th penultimate episode, Follow Me, My Friend, to Glory at the End, the final line of the Ballad of the Witch's Road, and what could be the season/series finale. So I'm wondering, is like the last episode an epilogue? I don't know. All I do know is there's so much to unpack here in Follow Me, My Friend, to Glory at the End. So what I'm doing is I'm doing that tonight. I'm going to save the finale episode for me. I'm going to watch it tomorrow, and we're going to get you an after show for that on Friday. So you can get the immediate reactions, on Screen Crush on YouTube. You got a little new rock stars in there. But when you're ready to sit down with me for the grand finale of things, it'll be at my usual 6:30 a.m. time slot on Friday morning. And that's just to savor what a great episode this was, and most likely what the finale / epilogue / explanation like me, and it gives me more time to think on this and sit on like this one episode. Okay, I'm giving you TMI about the background of this show, but I also want to be just upfront and honest with you, because you're like, why aren't we talking about the bigger thing that happened in the last episode? Well, they both came out at once. They're both the longest episodes of the series, and the first one had series finale potential. There's so many cool moments and reveals that I cannot just cram it all into one. So I hope you can understand that. And it gives me another week to prep my Black Panther episode for next Friday, which I'm very, very excited to cover. I haven't talked about Black Panther enough on this podcast. But that's just a little bit of what's going on, cleaning up house, making decisions. And let's just get into this episode, Follow Me, My Friend, Glory at the End. I keep saying it because I love that line in the Witch's Road song. Has anyone else had the Witch's Road song been popping in their head like all the time? For me, it's kind of because I did put it in like my algorithm for YouTube Music and whatnot, so I'm listening to it sometimes on my morning walks. It's just a great song. It's just so exciting. I'm wearing my shirt right now. It says Down the Road. Follow me, Mr. Honest, on Instagram. I post pictures there. And we got a lot of other outlets. Marvel Maniac Pod on X. And we are wherever you get your podcast. So if you're like, wonder if I should go to this other podcast place. Well, I guess I will, because they also have Marvel Maniac and MCU after show. You can give me your feedback now if you go into the episode description and check that out. Give me some feedback. More or less what you thought of this episode. What you think overall of the second to last episode, and just give me your genuine thoughts, or just criticize me and make me feel like not worthy to get my power back on the Witch's Road. I don't know why there's this low tone in my voice today. It might be because it's a little later for me. I don't know. Actually, I don't want it to look at it as a sign of me getting sick. And I'm making this all about me. So let's get into this freaking episode. I don't have to cut this thing out. But I'm not going to, because we're going to be honest. We're going to be in the moment. This is what I want to capture, the reaction. And okay, let's just say the end of this episode, does it confuse me or does it intrigue me? I don't know. But that's the first thing I want to just jump into. I just want to talk about the end of the episode really fast. Did Billy Maximoff do a WandaVision situation? Like where he created every character and every scenario and built a little world of his own and the Witch's Road? Like, did he create it with his magic? Like, there's things all over his room representing the trials and tribulations that they went through, showing and stapling in time that this was meant to happen. It's a whirlwind at the end of the episode. It's a whirlwind. because it is following like a huge moment after moment thing. This episode had me on the edge of my seat. I was in suspense, I'd say, like the entire duration of it. I appreciated the opening, getting to see Alice again. In a way, I thought Alice was coming back to life. Sadly not. And I think a big difference between this show and a lot of other Marvel properties even is it kills off characters to give the show bigger meaning and a heavier weight at the end of the finale. I still could be proven wrong. I mean, with the end of this episode, I don't even know what that means for all of this. I gotta figure this out before I watch it. I can't think of why. They should have waited another week and put these episodes out one at a time because they're worth it. But I could see how they would want to get this show out on Halloween. People will eat it up, and they are, I'm assuming. I'm going to have to stay off of social media tomorrow. I'm gonna watch this thing as early as possible tomorrow, without getting spoiled to death. But I do that for you, my audience. I do nothing for you. You do everything for me by being here and listening. But Alice, we start the episode getting to see her dead body, and Rio, aka Lady Death incarnate. I think that's what we say, and she comes to take Alice, and Alice was unwilling to go because it wasn't her time. She didn't feel like. And Rio reminds Alice that she's a protection rich, and she died protecting someone. And it kind of like hits you with a low gut punch right in the beginning of the episode there, because she didn't ask for this, but she did her job. Nobody, when they went on this journey, at this to go on the road, wanted to die. And I don't know why I sounded like really New York either. I don't know. Nobody wanted to die. Nobody wanted to die, obviously. But Alice was the first death that was like a murder, and it was by Agatha, and you just got to brush it off and go to the next task. It's good to see a little payoff from that, because I was asking, where the heck is Rio? And so was everyone else. We get to see where Rio was, and we kind of get to see what Rio does. And some of her abilities, interesting. Like, she could cut a hole open in reality with a knife because it's death. It's such a big entity introduced in a show that you wouldn't expect that entity to be introduced in. However, I think the character of Rio is going to take a huge part in the MCU. Aubrey Plaza nails it. And it's somehow creating a villain to topple our main anti-hero villain. And she does it with grace. And it's so good. Every time she's on screen and they're on screen together, Agatha and Rio, the tension rises. And the sinister comic booky feel to that fight at the end of this episode, it felt so signature MCU, so Marvel. You wouldn't expect a show like this to have kind of like such a showdown. The one thing I'm hearing in retrospect is, give me my prize. I want my prize. Agatha. She's evil. She's redeeming herself. She's evil. Redeeming herself. Evil. Redemption. I don't know where to stand with her, and I don't think you're supposed to. Agatha is such a complex character that we get to kind of see her act on impulse a lot, and it's kind of in her history to act on impulse that it's a decision she makes in the moment to take someone's life for their power. It's an impulsive thing. It's almost like she's an addict where, if somebody's putting power on her, it's hard for me. It's still very hard for me to defend Agatha for Alice, but I'm also trying to get into Agatha's head a little bit, because she really says it. Even I couldn't help it. She's like an addict, and she needs her magic and she needs her power. And what I love, and the full circle thing that kind of happens at the very end, with so many back and forths, the bad guy, good guy, bad guy. I liked it, but I still don't really know where we land. Actually, after a few minutes after watching, I'm like, where do we stand here? I think she made a sacrifice, and that's what we're supposed to take away. But the end of the episode also makes us wonder if every single thing that happened happened in the mind of Billy Maximoff. So many questions yet to be answered, so many setups yet to be answered in this finale that we'll be covering on Friday. And I just gotta say, I'm very interested in where it will go. I can't emphasize that more, because this is the episode where the show reached like a crescendo. It's almost like it really is almost like the series finale, because of the weight of the episode. I have that down in my outline. Yeah, it's like a very heavy weight goes at the end of this episode. So many emotional twists and turns. If you're invested in this story, this episode was just one of the best rides, maybe the best of the series. Last week, Lilia's episode, I mean, she knocked it out of the park. I mean, that was like ratings galore. I'm sure this episode will get a lot of attention. However, it depends on what that last episode, the epilogue, that's 40 minutes long. I mean, maybe not so much of an epilogue, maybe more, maybe even more like closure than I'm expecting right now. Because, like, I guess if this were the last episode, it would be setting up a second season, and they're going to answer a lot of questions, because you know Agatha's still around somehow at the end of the episode when she says boo. It scares Billy. And it ends. How is she still? She sacrificed herself. She's dead. She went with death. That was the plan. What's going on? Since it's all out in the open now, Rio, a.k.a. Lady Death. Oh my gosh. She has a lot to do in this episode. And she has like 10 different scary outfits, ranging from cute green witch to terribly horrifying skull under a robe. Scarier and more disgusting than the Red Skull. Maybe not. Red Skull, he's ugly. Not to be mean to our supervillains. Death can put on a face and can be made out with to make bigger and better bets, apparently. They're lovers. That kiss was a goodbye between Rio and Agatha. And oh boy, I'm going to be breaking down this episode tomorrow and being like, what did I do? I jumped all over the place. My plan today was not to take notes and just give you an organic reaction. And like, this episode had so many things in it. And it's almost like, you should have taken some notes. And I'm not going back and taking notes right now. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. That's why you should stick around for a week from today. We're going to be doing our after show of Agatha All Along. I have TJ confirmed. Dustin's still up in the air. Maybe if Dustin's listening to this, he'll confirm. Hey, Dusty, you down? If not, me and TJ will be doing the after show for Agatha All Along. So we still got a lot of content. We're going to do the final series finale on Friday. And then the following Wednesday next week, we have our after show just to talk about this show from beginning to end, talk about its biggest standout moments and its impact, if any, on the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really appreciate that in this episode, the characters who I feel deserved another life, a second chance, a prize at the end of the road in a place you never expect. You think it's another regular challenge, but it's technically like the final challenge. And we get this moment where Jen is thinking, how did I get bound? And I was in Boston and this and that. But like you see Agatha's face and she like kind of like makes this weird look and Jen catches it. She's like, what did you bound me? And that was a very quick accusation, but also she says she doesn't know, but maybe like Agatha is so Agatha all along. It's always been about Agatha all along. That's nuts. But that gave Jen the power to take a snatch out of Agatha's hair and do a spell that unbinds her from Agatha. Wow. She says, you hold nothing, over and over again. It gets very emotional. She keeps saying it to a point that's a little past comfort, even for a listener. But she's getting very emotional. And it happens that she gets unbound. And she gets like this little burst of pink magic in her hands. And She looked so happy. And I'm telling you, Jen was like, went from sobbing to kind of like happy, sad sobbing to happy sobbing. And it was beautiful. And then like she got her thing. So she got her thing at the end of the road. So snap, she just disappears. And then it becomes just Agatha and Billy in there. And in my opinion, one of the most memorable acts of I'm going to help you get what you want is if Billy can't find at the end of the road what he wants, which is his brother Tommy, Agatha is going to do what she can to provide assistance for Tommy to find, for Billy to find Tommy. And that's exactly what she does. She taps into his power, into his mind, and they locate Tommy, and they find a guy who's like drowning in the pool. And all of a sudden, like, Tina's gone. And it's just left with you that it's bittersweet. We don't see it happen. But it seems like what he wanted to get at the end of the road was accomplished. That kind of does mean Tommy Maximoff is out there. It's gonna be a reunion. If that reunion happens in this next episode, I'm gonna be so happy. When Agatha was left alone in this morgue, and she's the last one, and she figures out how to create life with a little plant that she has in her locket, like buried under the hair. Really weird, interesting, and specific. Okay. Let me know in the feedback section. Just go into the description of this episode, and you can hit our feedback section. I want to know your thoughts. Where did that dirt come from? Was that from Jen getting her magic back, or was that made when Billy was trying to revive Tommy and find him a body? I'm not quite sure. I might have missed the point where the soil was available for her to plant that thing and make it. And she almost was trapped, right? She was almost trapped. And she was like just about to, it was almost like not even going to let her win. And she had to scream, hey, it's fair. I solved your riddle. You got to let me out. And I actually I'm like, yeah, let her go. Let her go. And then she burst out of her like basement in Westview. But I got to say, the coloring at the end of this scene was memorable. A specific shade of gray, and just the whole feeling of something wicked happening. We get some payoff from the line Lilia gave Agatha on the way out in the last episode. When she calls you a coward, hit the deck. Agatha even says it out loud. Payoff, great payoff. And Lilia making another like save right at the end there. That's pretty slick. Lilia, one of the most badass witches out there. I really liked her, loved her, and I hope in the next episode everyone is just like revived somehow. I don't think that's going to happen though. With how certain Death is in wanting more bodies, even though she says they're starting to pile up. As Agatha exits the basement, we get the most sinister, evil green witch death laugh from Rio, and I'm going to keep calling her Rio because it puts human into death, and I don't know, I think I'm becoming Thanos. It's not good. No, she's cool, and Rio wants her prize as well, and when she says that, her face looks like a skull, and that is actually probably her true form. I wonder if Red Skull can honestly get some like advice from her on covering that stuff up. Man, I'm going to get some real hate mail from Red Skull fans this week. When she calls you a coward, hit the deck. I love that. I think I might have just said that, though. That's where we left off. And she literally is not looking very good. She's got blood all over her face. And who comes in? No other than Wiccan, Billy Maximoff's comic book, literally accurate costume and all. I don't like saying costume. It's a super suit. It's a dang suit. It's a dang super suit. And you know what? I freaking love that. This is maybe my favorite part of the episode. Oh my God. In this moment where he comes in to save Agatha, who I'm assuming the reason he's so helpful and thankful is because she tapped into him and he did save his brother. And I don't know why. It seems like a lot of time has passed for him. Like, did he go in the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z and like train for 2 years with Tommy or something? Like, he looks so cool. I mean, we know he could put the little crown on. So, I mean, maybe he's just powerful enough to like turn his clothes into that. I don't know why I'm obsessing over that. It's just comic book accurate stuff. I'm not even a big comic book fan, but it's like the ground and foundation of everything that's happening in all these shows, series, movies. And that's why Marvel, it's so important to get these movies right, because they're tackling stories that were perfect in the comics, that some called the golden era and this era and that era. I could learn a lot about the comics. With my ADD, I don't know how easy it'll be. I got the Fortnite Marvel collab comic book hardcover. I want to try and read some comics, but I really love the shows, and like I feel like it's kind of cool to stay grounded in the MCU, learning some of the things that happen in the comics that differ. If Agatha's an older woman perceived in the comics, but doesn't change the character that much. I'll be honest though, Catherine Hahn, she gives everything to this character. She redefines what Agatha is. She owns Agatha, and that's a hard thing to do. Such a complex character, so much back and forth, so much confliction, and earlier as I was saying, she got challenged by Impulse one last time when Billy, aka Wiccan, says, "Don't take it all," and starts zapping her with his power. So much power. Untapped power. Where did that come from? And she revives, and she's like wearing her big black dress from the end of WandaVision. Oh my gosh. And when Rio's standing on the roof, by the way, it reminds me of when Agatha's on the roof calling out Wanda, calling her the Scarlet Witch. Lots of parallels. Agatha is the underdog, but you can't think that for too long. You see the blue magic from Wiccan and the purple magic overcome Agatha, and then the purple magic just starts to go straight towards Wiccan. And I'm like, don't do it, don't kill him, don't do it. I thought she was gonna do it, and she didn't. She let him go. Acting on impulse, she let him go. I mean, that's a big deal for Agatha. I know, like, oh, she let him live. Like, well, that's how big of her to do that. But she let him go. She's never been able to do that. She cares enough about him to let him go. If Wanda Maximoff ever comes back, it's going to be like the comics. And I think she will go to Agatha Harkness and maybe have more of a relationship/friendship with her. I don't think we're anywhere near finished with the story of the Scarlet Witch. There is a rumor floating around about a maybe love connection with the variant of her and Doctor Doom. I don't know. That's for sure. I'm sorry if it's a spoiler, but I don't think it's a spoiler. It's more of a rumor. And that's kind of interesting. I don't want that to happen. I want Vision to have self-actualization after 3 years, wherever the heck he was holed up. Was he with Hulk from the beginning of She-Hulk? This is what my podcast does and has always done. And anyone who can follow my ramblings and jumping from thing to thing to thing, you deserve an award. But I hope it's not that incoherent. I have this one comment that just will ever go down in history. The guy's like calling me a stoner. It's like, sounds like bro just lit up before he hit the record button. And I just sat there. I was like, you're goddamn right I did. My earlier episodes could definitely have been better, but you don't get somewhere by just being amazing at first. You got to try again and pursue. And I believe every episode I get a little bit better. This episode, I'm a little bit flustered, to be honest with you. I have so much emotion about the series. I'm so taken aback by how impactful this show has been in my last few weeks. It's been my cornerstone of, what's going to happen. It's been my show, thinking about it every week. And like episodes like this, I mean, if they had that next one coming out next week, there's so much time to process what happened in this episode, maybe even a rewatch. But they wanted it for Halloween. I said that already. And, I just can't tell you how amazing it is to get 2 finale episodes that may be this good. Man, they got to stick the landing on this last one. They already did, if you ask me, but the next one's going to be crazy. So Wiccan comes and gives Agatha his power, and I don't know how he found his power so fast, but he does. He's grateful, I believe, for helping to find Tommy, and she looks like a badass again, Agatha. She looks cool. She's got her magic back. She's able to fight death, and at one point she tells Billy, we can't win against death. We can't fight death, and he volunteers himself to go, and she volunteers, and then he kind of volunteers, and then she's like, okay, and she lets him volunteer, and he asks her something along the lines of, is this what happened to Nicholas, her son? And that changed her mind, and instead of sacrificing herself, she went to go make out with Rio, who she loves and loved. I mean, this was a sacrifice, sacrifice on impulse. That's how Agatha acts in the moment. Decisions, life or death decisions, impulse. Last week with the tarot cards, plays them all over the table. Impulse. It's just the thing that it keeps hitting me in the face. It's a good message to weigh out your scenario sometimes. I mean, sometimes if the ceiling with the swords is coming down and you do need to act on impulse, but the way she has that kind of conflict throughout her story really stands out to me right now. I think it's really special. I think there's so much love baked into this show down to the core. I feel layers and layers of it. I feel rewatches of this show being really enjoyable for me around Halloween time. I love the sinister, just the sinister Aubrey Plaza death. I love how she even one-ups Agatha from being the bad guy. Wiccan, that moment where she doesn't take all his powers, she proves to be a little bit better. Like I said, she can redeem herself in little ways, but you can't take back some of the horrible things she did. They're done. And a lot of people died in her wake. Unless I'm wrong, in the next episode, everyone's back, and this was all in Wiccan's head, kind of a Wizard of Oz scenario. Wow. Very interesting. And I can't overemphasize how cool Wiccan looks. This is full superhero mode. This is Young Avengers content right here. He looks so badass. So yeah, Agatha dies protecting Billy and made the ultimate sacrifice play. And honestly, that makes up for what she did in WandaVision to Wanda. I mean, she saved this kid. So I think if Wanda's alive, it'll be really cool to see them together. I think Agatha is such a fan favorite out of nowhere now that I cannot see them moving on with Wanda without having her be some part of that story, because of what they did in this show, the brilliance of the bold choices they made, and to reveal so much information in one of these shows. It does remind you of WandaVision. It feels like, oh, there's more to come. This is just the beginning of something. This is crazy, and it's different and dark and bold, like I said, and it has every bit of right to that praise that it's getting. And I'm so happy that Marvel is putting something out as special as this, something that people could watch without knowing everything, something that people could watch that don't know anything but want to know anything, and go back and watch WandaVision and then get really into the MCU. I mean, we want the MCU to be big and on top of the world as possible. I want to see Doomsday shatter the records for Endgame, and I want to see Agatha there for it all along. Well, honestly, I have to end this episode because I want it to be out at the exact time as it's supposed to, which is 11 p.m. Central Time. I want to stay true to my word and also stay true to the algorithm. I would be posting both episodes day by day if I wasn't trying to make the algorithm work for me. And if you like or thumbs up or 5-star and give a review, even though this show is great, it goes the longest way, and it would really, really mean a lot if you did that. So don't forget to do that. I'm gonna go process this. I'm gonna go process. I can't even speak English after this episode. I'm gonna have to process it. I gotta think in my head a little bit about what's going on with Wiccan/Billy and all the things in his room that maybe point to the sign that he was just Dorothy and Oz and none of this really happened, all in his mind and others' minds. I don't know, but the next episode really, it sets up maybe some crazy premises, something I'm willing to wait a night for and just sleep on this. I'm really glad you came today. Thank you for coming by. We missed you. And if you've been here every day of the week, I mean, every last podcast, thanks for listening to that too. Like I said, the feedback section in the description of the episode, really, I would love to hear from you. We will put it on the show. Unless you don't want it on the show, just say you don't want it on the show. I'm losing my voice, maybe because I'm so excited and I'm a little tired. But I'm not at all let down by this episode, and I cannot imagine again, like I said, where it's going. Thank you for being here. We'll talk soon on Friday about the end, and then next Wednesday with our after show, where we talk about the series as a whole, its greater impact. And thank you. Did I miss anything? Did I not talk about something that made you go crazy in this episode? Let me know. Press that feedback button, and take care of yourself. Until next time, Avengers, disassemble.